Okay, so now we're going to talk about operations with functions, including composite functions. So first thing we're going to look at is finding the domain of a function. The key thing here is that we want to make sure that we're checking for our square roots and that we're checking our fractions, because we can't have, cannot have 0 in the denominator. And then we can't take the square root of a negative number. So looking at A, the function x squared minus 7x, there are no fractions, there are no square roots. So what's nice about this is we know our domain is just negative infinity to positive infinity, because there are no issues with it. X squared, that tells us it's a parabola. We know our domain of a parabola is all real numbers. Looking at B, 3x plus 2 divided by x squared minus 2x minus 3. So our issue with this is our denominator. Okay, remember, we know x squared minus 2x minus 3 cannot equal 0. So we're going to start off by factoring. So our factors of negative 3 that add to be negative 2. So we're left with x minus 3 and x plus 1 cannot equal 0. So if we set each of those, we get x cannot equal 3 and x cannot equal negative 1. And there's two different ways we can write this. So your set brace could be x such that x does not equal negative 1 or 3. Okay. Or we can do interval notation. So it'd be negative infinity to negative 1, union, negative 1 to 3, union, 3 to infinity. Okay. I'm okay with either way. I believe your homework will have you write it in the first method. Okay, looking at C, h of x equals the square root of 3x plus 12. So remember, we can take the square root of 0, but we can't take the square root of a negative. So we need to set 3x plus 12 to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So if we solve this, subtract 12, 3x is greater than or equal to negative 12, divide by 3. So x is greater than or equal to negative 4, or from negative 4 to infinity. So now if we kind of combine B and C together, we have 3x plus 2 divided by the square root of 4x minus 2x. Okay, cannot be negative. Or 0. So we're going to say 14 minus 2x has to be just greater than 0, because it can't equal 0. So if we solve this, subtract the 14, negative 2x is greater than negative 14, divide by negative 2, and careful with this that we remember to flip, and we get x is less than 7. So our domain is negative infinity to 7 with a bracket. All right, so now if we look at algebra functions, so we have our operations, sum, difference, product, quotient. So look at this first example, that f of x equal 2x minus 1 and g of x equals x squared plus x minus 2. If we want to find f plus g of x, that's the same thing as saying f of x plus g of x. So if we plug in what we know, we have 2x minus 1 plus x squared plus x minus 2. Combine like terms, and what we'd be left with is x squared. 2x plus x gives us 3x. And negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. So x squared plus 3x minus 3 is our solution. We don't solve it, we don't simplify for x, we're just simplifying the expression. So now if we look at B, f minus g of x means we're doing f of x minus g of x. Remember, the thing we have to be careful about with subtracting is that we distribute our negative. I'm going to make sure to put g of x in parentheses. So we have 2x minus 1 minus x squared minus x plus 2. Okay. And then combine like terms. So we have negative x squared. 2x minus x is plus x. And negative 1 plus 2 is plus 1. Okay. Finding f times g of x tells us that we're multiplying f of x times g of x. So we have the quantity of 2x minus 1 times the quantity of x squared plus x minus 2. And now we're going to kind of FOIL, distribute, long FOIL, however you want to think about it. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 2 is a negative 4x. Negative 1 times x squared, I'm going to stack mine, so negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times x is a negative 1x. And negative 1 times negative 2 is a positive 2. So now if we combine like terms, we have 2x cubed plus 1x squared minus 5x plus 2. And lastly, looking at D, we have f divided by g of x, which means we're doing f of x divided by g of x, which can simplify. So we have 2x minus 1 over x squared plus x minus 2. So we do need to check, can we factor our denominator? So are there any factors of negative 2 that add to be 1? And there are. Okay. We would have our 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 2 times x minus 1. But notice, nothing can cancel. Okay, that's not the same thing on the top and the bottom. So this is our factored form.